So, welcome to the online lecture for the subject all electronics, and the topic in this session is I would like to discuss is a basic theory of operation of thyristor. So, in the thyristor, number of switches are there. It's a nothing but a group. In that group, I'm going to consider this SCR, that is silicon control rectifier, and also and the another topic is VI characteristics of the thyristor. Okay, let's get into the basic theory of operation of thyristor, that is a SCR, silicon control rectifier. Okay, so it's a four layer, three junction PN semiconductor device consisting of at least three PN junctions. Okay, and functioning as an electrical switch for high power operations. I hope you can see this figure at the right bottom. Okay, so here P plus, in the sense it's an positively doped layer. It's an N layer. Four layers, that is PN type, and junctions are J1, J2, and J3. So between the PN junction, so there exists a junction. So likewise, junctions J1, J2, J3. So three junctions exist. Okay, and the four layer. So here these are the four layers, PN and PN. Okay, so and it is used as an electrical switch here, and the three terminals, three basic terminals, namely anode, which is denoted as A, and cathode, it is denoted as K, capital K, and gate mounted on the semiconductor layers of the device. So here it is mounted here. So gate is denoted by G, capital G. Okay, anode A, cathode K, and gate G. Okay, so and the symbolic diagram and the basic circuit diagram are further discussed. So here it is. So this is this a symbol here. In order to analyze the junctions, in order to analyze the layers, so this symbol is preferred. Actual switch symbol is, the thyristor symbol is, sorry, it is a thyristor here. So thyristor symbol is anode, cathode, and gate. So anode is denoted as A. So here you can see anode here. So it is denoted as A. So here it is. Okay, and the cathode K, and the gate is G. Okay, and this is the basic circuit diagram of the thyristor. Uh, in order to analyze the operation of this switch, this electrical switch, which is preferred for the high power operations. So this basic circuit diagram is preferred. Okay, so this is the input part. Okay, so here it is a positive supply is fed, with the help of the resistance, variable resistance. So it is connected to the load and through the switch. Okay, so what is the basic function of the switch here? It has to perform on and off. So that on and off should be controlled. Okay, so that is the reason why it is called as a controllable switch. Whereas coming to the diode, so I hope you can know these. What are the terminals of the diode? It has two terminals, that is anode and cathode. So there is no way of controlling the switch. So just based upon the input, soon after reaching the cut-in voltage, obviously the switch is going to be turned on. Okay, when the voltage falls below the cut-in voltage, obviously the diode will turn off. So likewise, it depends upon the input supply. But whereas coming to the controllable switch, so either if you consider BJT, MOSFET, or IGBT, any other switch, what we have studied earlier, okay. So in that we have to perform this controllable operation. So that means during the turn-on process itself, or during the turn-on period, so we might be in dependence of this controllable parameter. So either it may be voltage or current, most probably. So here we are going to control the current. So because obviously a maximum voltage is here, and appears across the switch. Soon after, when the switch is completely closed, this voltage becomes zero because it acts as a short circuit. Okay, and the current will be maximum. So that means the load current. Okay, so this is the basic operation. Fundamental thing of the electrical switch, any switch. Okay, so here this terminal, that is a gate. So this terminal is used for controlling the this SCR. So I mean this thyristor. Okay, so let's see this configuration here. So this variable resistance is considered in order to control the voltage here, which is connected to the load, and this load is load circuit is closed with the help of this thyristor. Okay, again for this gate terminal, a source is connected through the resistance, and a manual switch is placed here. So just in order to isolate, I mean in order to isolate the circuit, that is a gate circuit. Okay, so that is the source for the gate here is ES, and it has a variable resistance and a switch. Okay, so let's see the operation here. From the circuit diagram above, we can see the anode and cathode are connected to the supply voltage through the load. So anode and cathode. So look at here. So anode and one second. Yes. So anode and cathode are connected to the supply here through the load. Okay. So what is the basic thing here? Uh, so here, once the gate voltage, I mean coming to the symbol part. So here there should be the flow of electrons. That means the current flow should be there from anode to cathode. But here, because of these junctions, what happens based upon this junction forward, these junctions forward and reverse biased conditions, this flow of electrons, I mean the flow of current can be analyzed. Okay, so for that, this gate terminal is I mean the name itself indicates a gate, in the sense it is going to control the flow. Okay, either on period, I mean either on or off. Okay, somewhat it is going to control here. So what here control here, in the sense this junction J2, either it has to be forward bias, or based on the junction J2 forward bias and reverse bias. Okay, so this gate is used to control the flow of electrons here. That means the current flow can be controlled with the help of this gate. Okay, let's see the operation further. And another secondary look at the second one. Another secondary supply ES is applied between the gate and cathode. Okay, so here between the gate and cathode, so a voltage ES is applied. Okay, at cathode terminal, which supplies the positive gate current when the switch S is closed. So that's what I mean. That is the purpose of the placing the switch here. So this switch is going to isolate the gate circuit. Okay, gate in the sense here we have added the resistance as well as the source. So which is going to control the anode cathode flow of current. Okay, so okay, uh, next. So on giving the supply, we get the required VA characteristics of the thyristor. Okay. Yes. On giving the supply, we get the required VA characteristics of the thyristor shown in the figure below for anode and cathode voltage, that is a VA, and the anode current IA, as shown in the circuit diagram. So this is further discussed here. So I'll explain you later. And see here, we have to analyze the three modes of operation. So before learning about the characteristics of the SCR, so there exist three modes of operation. So that is reverse blocking mode. You can see this is the reverse blocking mode, forward blocking mode, and the forward conduction mode. Okay, so this operation, this switch operation can be analyzed, I mean, or else this switch operation can be analyzed in three modes. That is forward conduction mode, sorry, reverse, first thing reverse blocking mode, forward blocking mode. So forward blocking, in the sense it is also in off state. Okay, then forward conduction mode, so it is considered as an on state. So two states are in off states and one state in on state. So in that off states also, forward and reverse exist. Okay, so let's get into the reverse blocking mode of thyristors. Okay, so right. So in the reverse blocking mode of a thyristor, so the cathode is made positive. So I repeat once again, the cathode is made positive. So cathode here in the sense it is denoted as K. It is fed with an positive supply. Okay. So with respect to anode, so that means the anode is fed with negative supply. So here I'm highlighting it. Okay. So what happens? So it comes under the reverse bias condition. So or reverse mode of operation. Okay, as we have discussed it in the diode. Okay, which is similar to the operation of the diode. So what is the operation of the diode there? I mean, what are the modes of operation of diode? Forward bias mode and reverse bias mode. So how can we justify means if anode is fed with positive and cathode is fed with negative, it can be considered as the forward biased condition, and the switch gets conducted. Okay, so whereas coming to the other mode of operation, that is reverse biased mode, anode is fed with negative and cathode is fed with positive, the diode will never conduct. It is in blocking state. So similar to that, here also we are analyzing the same thing here. So here for the AC, I mean for the thyristor, okay. So for this thyristor, so anode is made negative and the cathode is made positive. Okay, and what about these junctions? The layers, it never there will not be any change of these layers, but the depletion layers may get there will be changes in the width of the depletion layer. So not get into focused on those things and all. Just come to the simple thing, that is the junctions. What about these junctions J1, J2, J3? Okay, so these junctions J1 and J3 will be in reverse bias and J2 is in forward bias. Okay, so when the thyristor is in reverse blocking mode, anode is negative and cathode is positive. And what about the junctions J1, J2, J3? Means, so junctions J1 and J3 will be in reverse bias and J2 is in forward biased. Okay, so look at this. So that's what I have said here. It is mentioned here. So here junctions J1 and J3 are reverse bias and J2 is forward bias. So at this mode, when that means J1, J2 reverse and J2 is forward, means how it appears, how how this switch is going to appear means it appears like a I mean the behavior of the thyristor here is similar to that of two diodes. Okay, so like a two diodes are connected in series with reverse applied voltage. Okay, how we are treating two diodes means PN junction. See, look at these two layers. It is considered as a diode. Okay, so it is considered as a single diode, this portion, and here it is considered as an another diode. Okay, so when this thyristor is in reverse blocking mode, okay, so what happens, it appears like a two diodes are connected in series with a reverse supply, that is anode is negative and cathode is positive. So then what does it mean? So okay, so if the situation is like that, if the behavior is like that, how it is going to perform means, as a result only a small leakage current of the order of few milliamps flows. Okay, so that's what mentioned in these characteristics. Okay, so I want to highlight only this part. Okay, this left hand side part, this consider only this thing. Okay, left hand side. So here a few order of milli or microamps is flowing through the in reverse mode of operation to a certain extent. What is that extent? So up to a VBR. What is VBR? So first of all, look at this VB naught. So here it is VB naught. It is a forward breakover voltage, reverse breakover voltage, that is denoted as VBR, and Ig is the gate current. So which is supplied with the help of the ES, which you have seen in the circuit, right? And look at all this current, reverse leakage current, that is a order of some milliamps, reverse blocking state. So and this is the forward leakage current, and latching current. All these things we'll discuss further. Let's see, look into the this VA characteristics analyzed in the reverse blocking state. Okay, so here at this mode, whatever discussed right now, that is a J1, J3 is in reverse bias, J2 is in forward bias condition, means a small amount of leakage current flows in reverse direction. To how long it persists means up to a for reverse breakdown voltage. Look at here. Since we are applying the voltage between the anode and cathode in opposite direction, so up to a certain finite value, that is denoted as VBR. Up to that, the current exists. After that, it reaches to the breakdown. So that is the avalanche breakdown. Okay, so this mode is nothing but the avalanche breakdown. Okay, so reverse avalanche breakdown. Okay, so what we are going to notice here in the sense, the switch is not conducted. Only a small amount of leakage current, which cannot be considered as a current, main current, I mean the load current. Only a leakage current in reverse direction is flowing through the switch. So that's what the statement which we are going to frame here. Okay, so when anode is negative and cathode is positive, it is in reverse bias mode. And in this mode, junctions J1, sorry, here you can see, yes, here junctions J1 and J3 is in reverse bias, and J2 is in forward bias. Only a small amount of leakage current flows from anode to cathode, and in this mode the switch is not conducted. Okay, and of course one more point we have to highlight that if this continues, if the same thing, I mean if the forward reverse breakover voltage is continuously increased, so it may reach to breakdown. Okay, so that's about the reverse blocking mode. So up to now what we have discussed, we will see one by one here. This is the reverse blocking mode or the off state of the thyristor. Okay, so if the reverse voltage is now increased, then at particular voltage known as the critical breakdown voltage, or that is noted as VBR, an avalanche occurs. That means a breakdown occurs at junctions J1 and J3, and the reverse current increases rapidly. So because J1 and J3 are reverse bias and the current gets increased, suddenly the switch may fail. I mean a huge amount of current flows in the reverse direction. Okay, so that should not be happened practically. Okay, a large current associated with VBR. What is VBR? So reverse breakover voltage gives rise to more losses in the SCR. So that means, so from this point, what we are going to, I mean, assume means, if it is in reverse blocking mode. Okay, so since it is going to be in blocking state, so for a longer period, it cannot, it should not be there, because a huge amount of energy loss will be there, as well as which results in heating, because that is a familiar thing, that is a fundamental thing we know. So if the switch is continuously in blocking state, or if the switch is in continuously in on period, obviously some amount of heat is going to be generated, because its operating levels are higher. So why we prefer these thyristors means, in the first introduction part itself we have discussed. So it is used for the high power ratings. Okay, I mean high power operating levels. Okay, so that is the thing. So this may lead to thyristor damage, as the junction temperature may exceed its permissible temperature rise. So because of its thermal capability, based upon its thermal capability, it can withstand, or else the switch may get damaged because of in rise in temperature. Okay, so if the rise in temperature is there, means what happens? Their concentration levels also gets deteriorated. Okay, so right. It should therefore be ensured that maximum working reverse voltage across a thyristor does not exceed VBR. Okay, so we should ensure that we should not exceed VBR, that is a reverse breakover voltage. So this is the maximum limit of the reverse mode of operation. Okay, when the reverse voltage applied across the thyristor is less than VBR, the device offers very high impedance in the reverse direction. So how can we say here in the sense? So if the voltage applied in reverse state, I mean if the anode is negative and cathode is positive, and it is below the VBR, so what happens? Uh, it offers very high impedance. High impedance in the sense the current will be very less. So that's nothing but the blocking state. Okay. So the SCR is in reverse blocking mode, may therefore be treated as an open circuit. Okay, so open circuit in the sense, see what we have, what we need actually, this switch should be closed. Okay, but here it is open. So how can we treat now? It is in open circuit condition. Okay, this small amount of leakage current should not be considered. It is an leakage part. It's considered as a losses. So here in reverse blocking mode, the switch is not operated. It is in open circuit. So that's the statement made. Okay. Next, we'll get into the forward blocking mode. Okay. So now considering forward blocking in the sense, so this title itself indicates that it is in forward mode, but it is in a blocking state. So that means anode should be positive. See, anode should be positive and cathode should be negative. Okay. So, and what about these junctions? What about the levels of these junctions? That means whether it is in forward bias or reverse bias. Let's see. This junction J1 and J3 will be in forward bias because here N is negative and here P layer it is fed with positive. So obviously junctions J1 and J3 will be in forward bias, and J2 only it will be in a reverse bias. Okay, so that is the case in the forward blocking state. And the gate circuit, here we are not at all applying any voltage. Earlier the same thing here also in reverse mode of operation. Okay, so here also we are not at all applying any gate voltage. I mean a gate current is not supplied to this switch, I mean through the switch. Okay, so here it is opened. So that is the reason why we have preferred the switch in the basic circuit of a thyristor. Okay, so here the gate circuit is opened. Okay, so no voltage is applied. Only a anode is fed with positive and cathode is fed with negative. At this mode, junctions J1 and J3 are forward bias, but junction J2 is reverse bias. Since it is in reverse bias, there is no flow of current from anode to cathode. Only a small forward leakage current flows through this mode. Okay, let's see one way. See, as we can see, the junctions J1 and J3 are now forward bias, but junction J2 goes into reverse bias condition. Okay, in this particular mode, a small current called forward leakage current is allowed to flow initially, as shown in the diagram of the thyristors. Sorry, yes, here it is. Okay, see, this is the VA. So VA in the sense anode voltage. So it is between anode and cathode. So in some of the textbooks you can see it is between anode and cathode, right? So it is VAK actually, or you can consider it as VA, anode voltage. Okay, obviously the voltage is applied between two terminals, that is anode and cathode. Next, what about this current? So it flows from through anode. Okay, so that is anode current IA. Okay, and the gate current. So it is flown through the gate terminal with the help of the switch. Okay, fine. So now we have to analyze. I mean, we have to analyze the characteristics in forward blocking mode. Okay, so when the anode cathode voltage is applied. Okay, so see, you can see the characteristics here. A small amount of forward leakage current flows in the state. Up to which extent? Up to the forward breakover voltage, that is VB naught. So here it is VB naught. Here you can see VB naught. Okay, the same thing what we have seen in the reverse blocking state, the same thing observed here also. That is, but actually here it is anode is positive and cathode is negative. It is in forward bias mode. But since J2 is reverse bias, a small amount of leakage current flows in the forward blocking state. Okay, so what will be the next step? If we keep on exceeding the forward breakover voltage, what happens? Again, the same thing. An avalanche occurs here. Okay, so here actually it is not mentioned, but the same thing happens here also. Okay, so here an avalanche occurs. Okay, right. Let's see. Now, if we keep on increasing the forward bias anode to cathode voltage, in this particular mode, the thyristor currents from anode to cathode with a very small voltage drop across it. Okay, sorry. So here, a small amount of leakage current persists in this forward blocking state. Okay, next. See here, look at the last one. A thyristor is brought from forward blocking mode, which now we have discussed, to the forward conduction mode by turning it on by exceeding the forward breakover voltage or by applying a gate pulse between gate and cathode. See, one thing here we are highlighting that if we uh, increase the forward breakover voltage. So earlier I have said that it may leads to breakdown. So breakdown in the sense the switch may uh, completely closes here actually. So in that mode, what happens? See, look at here. See, if the switch is completely closed, means what happens from anode to cathode, the flow of current exists. So that is what exactly we need. But in the reverse mode, the reverse current flows. That should not be practically encouraged. Okay, so now uh, if we increase the anode volt, I mean anode cathode breakover voltage. So what happens? If VB naught is exceeded, the switch may completely comes to breakdown. So breakdown in the sense here the switch is completely closed. So this is one way of turning on the switch. So uh, the another thing is by increasing the gate current. See, look at here. Yes. The another thing is if we increase the gate current. So initially, if we consider this IG is 0, so by applying the uh, see, by applying the gate voltage, so you can analyze from here, right? So when the switch is closed here, so this ES from the source ES, a gate current is applied to the switch. Okay, so right. Okay, so if I is equal to 0, so it may not reach to the completely turn on state. And if I keep on increasing the gate current, so this is let it be IG1, here let it be IG2, let it be IG3 with increase in gate current. So look at here, IG1 less than IG2 less than IG3. So at some state, at some position or at some particular value, so there will be a rise of current. So this is called two currents exist here, that is holding current and latching current. Okay, we'll go in detail of this further later, that is a holding and latching current. But simply just for our understanding, we can consider as holding current is the minimum current before the turn off of the thyristor, and the latching current here, and since the minimum current required for the anode voltage, I mean to completely conduct this switch. Okay, the minimum current required when the switch conducts. Okay, that is nothing but the latching current. It is denoted as IL, and the holding current is denoted as IH. Okay, so this is the another method of turning on the switch. Okay, so I repeat once again, what about the forward blocking state? Okay, so here anode is made positive, here anode is made positive, one second. Yes, anode is made positive and cathode is made negative, and the gate current is there is no way gate current. So at this mode, J1 and J3 are forward bias and J2 is reverse biased. Okay, so because of this reverse bias, a small amount of leakage current flows. So this is the small amount of leakage current. Okay, so in that is a anode current. So with if we keep on increasing the voltage, forward breakover voltage, what happens? It may leads to breakdown and completely the current flows from anode to cathode. So this is one way of turning on the switch, but it is not practically encouraged because making the switch to breakdown, it should not practically encourage in the any power conversion operations. Okay, and it can be considered as an turning on the switch. Okay, and the other thing is by adding the gate current. Okay, so with the help of the source ES. Okay, so this gate current is allowed to the switch. Then what happens? J2 comes to the forward biased condition in the forward blocking state. So initially J2 is reverse bias, J1 J3 is forward bias. With the adding of the gate current, this J2 also comes to the forward biased condition. Then the switch may conduct. So this is called as the turning on the switch by using the gate current. So which is practically mostly preferred. Okay, so that is the reason why we have placed the gate terminal. Okay, we can control the uh, current in the switch. Okay, so which is mostly used. Gate control is the mostly controlled uh, mode of operation. I mean, this terminal is mostly used for controlling the switch. Okay, right. So another mode is, see, before that, a few more points here. Let's read out all those things. In this mode, the thyristor is in on state and behaves like a closed switch. So voltage drop across the thyristor in the on state is around 1 to 2 volts, whereas in the diode, so it will be around zero point 0.7 volts, which we have discussed earlier. Okay, and the depending on a certain point, what we have seen, that is a holding current point and latching current point. So junction J2 will have avalanche breakdown at a voltage called forward breakover voltage, that is VB naught, as I said you before. So if you keep on increasing the forward breakover voltage, that is VB naught, what happens, junction J2 also reaches to breakdown. That means uh, there will be flow of current from anode to cathode. But if we keep the forward voltage less than VB naught, we can see from the characteristics that the device offers a high impedance. See, if in this mode, before, without a gate current, if you just consider as without any gate current, so uh, here a small amount of leakage currents is existing, but the switch is not completely closed. Here we should not consider it as an switch is closed, just it is a leakage current, what we have seen in the reverse mode of operation. Okay, the same thing is happening here also. Okay, so here there is no amount of current flow, means we have to treat it as the impedance offered in the switch is very high. Okay, so when the switch is completely closed, the maximum current will be there, the impedance will be very less. So that is the case. Okay, next. So thus even here the thyristor operator operates as an open switch during the forward blocking mode. Okay, so and the last mode is forward conduction mode, which is the actual turn on of the switch. Okay, when the anode to cathode forward voltage is increased with the gate circuit open, the reverse junction J2 will have an avalanche breakdown, so at forward breakover voltage, leading to thyristor turn on. So this I have repeated in the earlier forward blocking state. So look at here, with increase in forward breakover voltage, okay, what happens, it may junction J2, which is earlier in reverse biased condition. Okay, so it may reaches to forward bias, I mean the junction reaches to breakdown. So J2 comes to the forward bias and J1, J2, J3 will be in forward bias. So the switch will conduct. So which is not practically encouraged. So every time if you go for breakdown, means the switch may lose its behavior. Okay, so that is one mode of operating the switch. So it is called as the turn on method, and the other is uh, see. Um, 1 second. Once the thyristor is turned on, we can see from the diagram for the characteristics of that point M at once shifts towards N and then anywhere between N and K. Uh, see, actually here it is M. Here it is N. Here I have missed now, or else I'll mention now. So this point is M, and this point is N. Okay, so M and this point is K. This is K. Okay, so and here Nk represents the forward conduction mode of the thyristor. So Nk represents, this is N, this is K. So Nk represents the forward conduction of the thyristor. Okay, next. So in this mode of operation, the thyristor conducts maximum current with minimum voltage drop. And this is known as forward conduction, or the turn on mode of the thyristors. Okay, so that's all about forward conduction of the thyristor. Okay, so why we have placed this IG1, IG2, IG3 means this is another mode of turning on the switch. So we will see further in detail of the different modes of operation of the thyristors, different turn on methods of the thyristor. In that I will explain it more clearly, but now we have studied only three modes of operation. That is, what are the modes of operation? Forward, sorry, reverse blocking mode, forward blocking mode, and forward conduction mode. Okay, so these are the three modes of operation we have discussed now. Okay. So that's all about session. We'll discuss in the switching characteristics of the SCR in the next class. So thank you.